Let me tell you something powerful about helping others. It's one of the purest, most beautiful expressions of our shared humanity. There's something sacred about seeing someone stumble and choosing not to pass them by, but to stop, to kneel, to lift them. A helping hand extended in love, without expectation, speaks louder than 1,000 words. It's a reflection of compassion, of hope, of believing that we're all in this together. But, and I say this with a heavy heart, not everyone deserves your help. I know that sounds harsh. I know it may rub against your instincts. Because if you're the kind of person who's wired for empathy, someone who sees pain and instinctively wants to ease it, that sentence might feel wrong. But listen closely. This isn't about turning your back on the broken, the hurting, or the lost. No, this is about protecting yourself from a very specific kind of danger. It's about recognizing that some people don't want healing. They want attention. Some don't want freedom. They want someone else to carry their chains. And if you're not careful, the hand you extend to help them up will be the very rope they use to pull you down. So today, we're going to talk about 8 types of people you should think twice before helping, and why walking away isn't cruelty, but wisdom. Let's start with the first. The perpetual victim. You've probably met someone like this. Their life is an endless series of disasters. There's always something going wrong, always someone to blame, always some crisis that consumes them. But if you look closely, you'll notice a pattern, a refusal to take responsibility. They live in chaos. But that chaos isn't accidental. It's familiar, it's comfortable. They thrive in it. Because as long as they're the victim, they don't have to grow, they don't have to change, they don't have to look in the mirror and confront the hard truths about their own choices. You, being kind, step in. You try to help, you listen, you offer solutions, you give your time, your energy, maybe even your money. But nothing changes. And here's the painful part. They don't actually want it to. They don't want help. They want a savior they can blame when things go wrong again. You become their scapegoat, not their solution. And slowly, almost without realizing it, you begin to lose yourself in their drama. Their storm becomes your storm. Their anxiety becomes your burden. And every time you try to help, you sink deeper into their emotional quicksand. It's hard because you care. You see their pain. You want to believe you can make a difference. But here's the truth. Helping someone who refuses to take responsibility is not compassion. It's codependency. Support is for those who are trying to stand, not for those who demand to be carried indefinitely. So, what can you do? You love from a distance. You set boundaries. You stop sacrificing your peace for someone who has no intention of changing. That's not selfish. It's healthy. It's wise. It's necessary. Next, we have the chronic complainer. These are the people who find the dark cloud in every silver lining. You could bend over backward, give your best effort, go the extra mile, and they'd still find something wrong. Nothing is ever good enough. They'll grumble about the meal you cooked, the favor you did, the help you offered. Always a problem, always a critique. At first you think, maybe I can cheer them up. So you try harder, you give more, you smile even when it hurts. But no matter how much sunshine you bring, they keep drawing the curtains closed. Being around them feels like walking through emotional fog. Their constant complaints begin to chip away at your joy. They don't want solutions. They want an audience. They want someone to validate their grievances, not challenge them to change. And slowly, their negativity seeps into your soul. You find yourself feeling heavier. You question your worth. You doubt your efforts. But it's not you, it's them. You cannot fix someone who is committed to being broken. You cannot uplift someone who refuses to stop looking down. And trying to help a chronic complainer is like pouring water into a cracked jar. No matter how much you give, it leaks. And the more you give, the more drained you become. So here's what you must remember. Your peace is priceless. Don't trade it for someone else's endless complaints. But here's the truth. Many of us learn the hard way. Some people don't want to be better. They just want to be bitter. They wear misery like a badge of identity. Their complaints become their comfort zone. Moving forward would mean giving up the narrative they've built, a narrative where they are the victim, never the villain, the wounded, never the responsible. You try to lift them, offer solutions, give encouragement, but they resist. Why? Because deep down growth threatens their story. If they change, they can't keep blaming everyone else. If they improve, they lose the excuse that justifies their stuckness. And you become their sounding board, their therapist, their emotional punching bag. Not because you want to, but because you care. But caring doesn't mean carrying. And compassion without boundaries leads to burnout. So you need to ask yourself, am I giving my energy to people who actually want to grow? Or am I stuck pouring myself into someone who is addicted to chaos? Time is sacred, energy is finite, and every moment you spend feeding someone's endless negativity is a moment stolen from someone who truly values your help. You can't afford to keep bleeding energy for people who refuse to heal. It's not selfish to walk away. It's wise. It's necessary. You weren't called to be someone's emotional trash can. You were called to be a light, not to burn out. Now let's talk about the third type, the entitled. Unlike the victims and complainers, these people don't just ask for help. They demand it. They don't say thank you. They don't acknowledge your sacrifice. They act like your time, your energy, your kindness, it all belongs to them by default. They walk through life with the mindset that the world owes them something, and by extension, you owe them too. Every favor you do is treated like a duty. Every act of generosity is expected, not appreciated. You've probably seen it, maybe in a family member, a colleague, or even a friend. They come to you only when they need something. And when you help, there's no gratitude, no humility, just the silent expectation that you'll do it again, and again, and again. But here's the hard truth you need to hear. Your kindness is not a contract. You are not required to keep giving. To those who keep taking without thanks, helping someone should never feel like servitude. When it does, it's no longer help. It's emotional enslavement. Some people believe your life should revolve around their needs. They'll act like they're doing you a favor by accepting your help. And if you say no, they guilt-trip you, question your loyalty, or make you feel selfish for setting boundaries. Don't fall for it. Just because someone is in your life doesn't mean they have a right to your energy. Entitlement is not love. Demands are not friendship. And people who love you will never expect you to exhaust yourself for them. So take this as a sign. If someone repeatedly drains you without ever filling you back up, it's time to reevaluate that relationship. There are people out there, beautiful, humble souls, who will be grateful for your help, who won't take your kindness for granted, who will work hard, grow, and turn your support into real progress. Those are the ones worth investing in. But for the ones who only show up when they want something, who take without acknowledgement, who treat your kindness like an obligation, let them go. You're not here to be everyone's savior. You're here to be a good steward of your time, your gifts, and your peace, because when you protect your peace, you protect your power. Here's the trap of dealing with entitled people. They see your generosity not as kindness, but as currency. They're owed. You give your time, you offer your resources, you pour out your heart thinking you're helping someone. But when it's all said and done, there's no thank you, no recognition, no sense of appreciation. Why? Because in their mind, you were just doing what you were supposed to do. They needed something, and you were there to provide. End of story. That's the hidden danger of entitlement. You can give endlessly, hoping your care will inspire change, or at the very least, gratitude. But instead of growth, they only learn one thing: that demanding works. That manipulation opens doors, that someone will always step in and rescue them. But here's the truth no one wants to say aloud. You will get tired. Tired of giving, tired of bending, tired of sacrificing while they remain unmoved. And when that moment comes, when the scales fall from your eyes, you'll see it clearly. Nothing has changed. They're still entitled, still expecting more, still refusing to grow, and that's when you have to draw a line in the sand. See, helping others is a beautiful, noble thing, but when your help no longer helps, when it begins to enable pride, feed arrogance, or reinforce irresponsibility, it's no longer compassion, it's compromise. There's a difference between lifting someone and letting someone lean on you until you collapse. Your time, your energy, your emotional capacity, all of it is finite. You cannot keep pouring into people who only take and never look back. So what must you do? Set boundaries. Start recognizing when generosity turns into obligation. Start noticing when your yes is met with expectations instead of gratitude. And most of all, don't apologize for saying no. Some people expect your help like it's their birthright. They'll treat you like a vending machine. Punch in a request and expect a solution to pop out. But the truth is, you're not a machine. You're a person. You bleed, you tire, you matter. And yes, it's hard to say no, especially when you have a big heart. But boundaries are not unkind. They are wise, necessary, sacred. Because if you don't protect your peace, no one else will. So help, but help wisely. Help those who are grateful. Help those who are trying. Help those who understand that your time and care are not obligations. They're gifts. And when someone makes you feel guilty for not giving more, that's your sign. Walk away. You've done enough. Now let's talk about another type of person you must be careful with. The habitual liar. These are not your average fibbers. These are people who have so thoroughly immersed themselves in deception that they've blurred the line between fact and fiction, even for themselves. They lie so convincingly, so emotionally, that you don't even realize it's happening. They know exactly what to say, what emotion to tap into, how to make you feel like the only person in the world who can save them. Their stories are rehearsed, dramatic, urgent. They paint themselves as victims, underdogs, misunderstood saints, and your heart, compassionate as it is, gets pulled in. You think they just need someone to believe in them. So you believe, you listen, you give, you rearrange your schedule, you sacrifice your finances, you lose sleep, worrying and praying for them, thinking you're doing the work of compassion. But what you don't see, at least not at first, is that they've done this before, and they'll do it again, to you, to the next person, to anyone who gives them an open ear and an open heart. Habitual liars don't just tell occasional white lies. They live in a world where truth is twisted, where manipulation is second nature, and where empathy is a tool, not a value. And here's the most painful part. You'll never know what's real. You won't know if the crisis is exaggerated or invented. You won't know if the tears are genuine or rehearsed. You won't know if the desperate plea for help is honest or just another performance. And by the time you realize what's happened, you're already in too deep. And then it hits you. Everything you believed, the tears, the story, the crisis, was fabricated, crafted to pull at your heart, to twist your emotions, to lure you into giving your time, your support, your compassion. And when the truth, finally, comes to light, when you realize it was all just a performance, the feeling is like a punch to the chest. You're not just disappointed. You feel betrayed, used, played. You poured your heart into a lie. You rearranged your life to help someone who never intended to be honest with you. You sacrificed energy, sleep, money, emotions, and it turns out the emergency was never real. That kind of betrayal cuts deep, and it does more than just waste your time. It starts to damage your very ability to trust. You begin questioning everything. Was anything they said real? How many other lies did they tell that you never caught? Who else in your life has fooled? You like this? Before you know it, your trust in others begins to erode. You second-guess every new plea for help. You hesitate before offering your kindness. And the worst part, people who really need your support may now suffer for the damage caused by one deceiver. That's the ripple effect of a habitual liar. They leave behind a trail of doubt, confusion, mistrust, and not just toward themselves, but toward anyone who dares to ask for help. They don't just betray you, they poison your ability to trust others. But here's the crucial part. You don't have to stay stuck in that bitterness. The first step? Call it what it is. Stop sugarcoating. Stop saying, maybe they meant well, or they were just desperate. No, they lied, and they kept lying. And the more you excuse it, the more you invite it back into your life. When dealing with someone who has a pattern of deception, trust is no longer a default. It must be earned. Look beyond their words. Pay attention to the patterns. Is their story always changing? Are they constantly shifting blame, revising timelines, creating drama? If so, don't just hope they're telling the truth this time. Require proof. Let their actions speak, not just their emotions. And most importantly, don't let their lies define you. You're not foolish for having a kind heart. You're not weak for wanting to help. What you must do now is learn. Grow wiser, sharpen your discernment, reclaim your peace, because not everyone is a liar. Not everyone is out to manipulate. There are people who are honest, sincere, and truly in need, and they deserve your help. But you won't be able to serve them if you keep pouring yourself into the wrong people. So what's the key to breaking free from the web of a manipulator? Awareness, observation, boundaries. A habitual liar doesn't stop at one story. They lie repeatedly, confidently, convincingly, and they'll keep lying as long as someone keeps believing. Watch how they handle accountability. Notice how they change their narrative when questioned. Pay attention to how quickly they play the victim when confronted, because if someone lies to you once and you forgive them, that's grace. But if they lie again and again and you keep accepting it, that's no longer compassion. That's self-betrayal. So ask yourself, do I really want to keep investing in someone who disrespects truth, disrespects me, and shows no intention to change? Helping someone who lies is not noble. It's harmful to you, to them, and to the people you could be helping instead. If you don't stop the pattern, you'll find yourself stuck in the same cycle, giving your best to someone who's only giving you their worst. So draw the line. Say no. Say it with clarity, with confidence, and without guilt. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the truth. And you owe it to the people in your life who truly deserve your help, because your energy is sacred, and once it's wasted, you don't get it back. Protect it, guard it, and only give it to those who honor it with integrity. Now here's another kind of danger, one that doesn't come with complaints or chaos, but with charm and charisma. This is the opportunist, unlike the loud, bitter, or obviously draining people. In your life, the opportunist is smooth, persuasive. They know exactly how to speak your language, how to make you feel seen, valued, even chosen. They don't come begging. They come offering. They speak in grand visions. They paint glorious pictures of what could be. They speak of partnership, destiny, breakthroughs, and golden opportunities. And you, full of hope, full of heart, you believe them. Because why wouldn't you? They make you feel like you're not just helping someone. They make you feel like you're stepping into a calling, into something greater than yourself. But here's the harsh truth. It's all smoke and mirrors. Their promises, empty. Their plans, non-existent. Their loyalty, conditional. You think you're building something meaningful together, but in reality, they're building it on you. Your time, your energy, your resources, they cling to you when you're thriving. When you're generous, when you're stable. They see your success as fuel for their own climb. They frame their needs as mutual goals. But behind the smiles and convincing words, it's just one thing, a calculated move, because they're not here to walk beside you. They're here to ride your momentum until it benefits them. And once they've gotten what they wanted, they vanish. No goodbye, no thank you, no explanation. You're left standing in the rubble of what you thought was a team effort, wondering how you didn't see it coming. The worst part? You probably don't see it until it's too late. They're so good at what they do. They know how to make you feel needed, as if your role in their mission is pivotal, as if you're indispensable to their vision. But it's never about you. It's about what you can offer. You're not a partner, you're a stepping stone, and once your usefulness runs out, so does their presence in your life. These people don't care about your well-being. They don't care about your goals. They don't care about the cost you're paying. They care about winning, even if it means you lose. And when they leave, you're left not only empty-handed, but with a bitter taste in your soul, a feeling of being used, discarded, forgotten. But listen to me closely. You cannot stay stuck in that regret. You must learn from it. You must grow wiser, not colder, more discerning, not more bitter. There are warning signs, and once you've been through it, you'll start to see them clearly. Grand promises with no real plan, big dreams without steps, constant. Requests but no real investment. Emotional hype with no real support behind it. If they're always on the verge of something huge, but never doing the actual work. If they expect your resources but don't match your effort, if your relationship feels like you giving and them taking, then step back, guard your heart, and most of all, believe what their patterns reveal. Stop romanticizing potential. Stop falling for words that aren't backed by action. You are not just a tool to be used. You are not a free ladder for someone else's ambition. You are not obligated to support every dazzling idea that walks into your life with confidence and a smile. You must stop investing in people who don't invest in you. You must stop confusing flattery for friendship. You must stop letting smooth talk blind you to selfish intentions, because the opportunist will take and take until there's nothing left to give. And then they'll leave. And you'll be the one left with the bill, exhausted, confused, betrayed, but not this time. This time, you draw the line. You stay grounded. You ask for action, not just ideas. You watch behavior, not just listen to words. Let them prove they're real before you offer your full heart and hand, and most importantly, protect your peace. Because your energy is sacred. Your time is limited, and your trust should be earned, not exploited. Here's a truth that stings more than most. Sometimes the opportunist wears a familiar face. It's not always a stranger with a slick smile and a charming story. Sometimes it's a close friend. Sometimes it's someone you've known for years. Someone you've laughed with, trusted, maybe even sacrificed for. And that's what makes it so hard to see clearly. Because how do you protect yourself from someone who's already inside the walls of your life? How do you draw a boundary when the person stepping over it is someone you once let in without hesitation, but the signs, they're always there. They only call when they need something. They don't check on you unless there's something in it for them. They make you feel like you're lucky to be part of their vision, yet never invite you to share in the reward. They offer promises but withhold partnership. They flatter you, but never truly value you. That's when you need to pause. That's when the realization sets in. This person isn't here for you. They're here for what you can do for them, and you need to be okay walking away. This isn't about being cold or closing your heart to everyone. It's about being wise. It's about protecting the gift of your time, your effort, your loyalty. Because those things are sacred. Opportunists don't just drain your wallet or your calendar. They drain your spirit. They leave you asking, how did I miss this? Why didn't I see it coming? Because they're good. They're polished. They've learned how to make you feel needed while secretly making you feel small when you stop serving their purpose. But once you recognize the pattern, once you refuse to be manipulated by emotional flattery or guilt, that's when everything changes. That's when you stop giving energy to people who don't value you. And you start investing in the ones who do. Now let's talk about the sixth type of person you should be wary of, the drama seeker. You've seen them. We all have. They're always in the middle of a mess, always surrounded by some kind of chaos, scandal, heartbreak, or fight. But here's the key difference. Their life isn't just complicated, it's intentionally chaotic. These people don't experience drama, they create it. And if there isn't any drama, they'll stir some up. Because for them, peace is boring. Stillness feels like suffocation. Silence? Unbearable. They need emotional intensity like others need oxygen. And if they're not in crisis, they feel irrelevant. So they pull others, you, into their chaos just to stay alive in the story. At first you try to help, you think they're just going through a rough time. You offer solutions, advice, comfort, stability, but nothing sticks. Why? Because they don't want peace. They want attention. They want your emotions, not your wisdom. They want you to feel sorry for them, to rush to their rescue, drop everything and play the hero in their ongoing soap opera. And the more you get involved, the more tangled you become. Their crisis becomes your burden. Their conflict bleeds into your peace. Their mess spills all over your life. And suddenly you're not just a helper, you're a cast member in their never-ending drama. But here's what you have to realize. You can't calm a storm that someone else keeps fueling. You can't fix a mess that they're not trying to clean up. And you can't help someone who uses chaos as a lifestyle. These people don't want closure. They don't want healing. They don't want breakthrough. They want eyeballs. They want sympathy. They want an audience. And as long as you're listening, caring, responding, they're winning. But what about you? You're getting drained. You're losing sleep. You're walking on emotional eggshells. And for what? For someone who isn't even trying to change. So here's the wisdom. Recognize them. Set the boundary. Walk away, not in cruelty, but in clarity. They can choose drama, but you can choose peace. Don't let their storm become your home. Don't let their craving for chaos infect your calling for calm. You were not created to carry someone else's emotional circus. You were not meant to play the supporting role in someone's destructive drama. You're allowed to love them from a distance. You're allowed to care without rescuing. You're allowed to say, I see your storm, but I won't step into it. Because your peace matters. Your mental clarity matters. And not everyone deserves front row access to your heart just because they shout the loudest. There comes a moment, a sharp, sobering moment, when you realize that helping isn't helping anymore. What you're doing isn't saving someone. It's enabling their cycle. You're no longer offering a life raft. You're feeding the storm that keeps dragging them under. By the time this realization hits, it's often too late. You've already poured out your energy. You've given your time, your support, your prayers, your sleepless nights. You thought you were being a blessing, but now you're the one left feeling empty, and that's the tragedy of helping the wrong way. You walk in with compassion, but you walk out carrying consequences that were never yours to begin with. Now let's be clear. This isn't about closing your heart. This isn't a call to become indifferent. There's a place for kindness. There's a need for compassion. But wisdom must walk with both, because if you're not careful, you'll spend your life pouring into people who have no intention of changing. You'll be rescuing people who don't even want to be rescued. They just want your presence, your energy, your attention. And that's when you have to make one of the hardest decisions of all. You have to step back. It takes courage to say no. It takes strength to stop playing the savior, especially when your heart is wired to care. But you have to remember, your energy has value. Your time is sacred. Your peace is worth protecting. There are people out there who genuinely need help, who are trying to grow, to heal, to climb out of the pit. Those are the ones who will take your hand and stand up with it, not the ones who keep pulling you down just so they don't have to climb. And so, protect your boundaries. Say no, not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. You're not abandoning anyone. You're choosing peace over chaos, because the moment you stop inviting drama seekers into your life, something shifts. The storm lifts, your spirit calms, and your energy returns. Now let's talk about the taker, The seventh type you must learn to guard yourself against. These people, they're not always obvious. They don't walk in like villains. They come dressed in charm. They wear the face of friendship. They know how to smile, how to say the right things, how to make you feel important. But make no mistake, their agenda is simple. Take, use, disappear. They're never around when it's your turn to need something. You won't hear from them when your world is falling apart. But the moment they hit a rough patch, they're ringing your phone. They need advice, a favor, a loan, a connection. And because you're kind, you help. Because you care, you give. Because you believe in people, you pour. And for a brief moment, they give you what you long for. Gratitude, a thank you, a smile that feels like warmth. But that warmth fades the moment they no longer need you. They don't show up when your tank is empty. They don't pour back into your cup. They've already found their next source, their next opportunity. And you're left drained, emotionally, spiritually, sometimes even financially. Then comes the self-blame. Why didn't I see it? Was I really that blind? The answer, not blind, hopeful. You hoped that this time it would be different. You believed in the good you saw, or wanted to see. And that hope was used against you, because here's the truth about takers. They're experts in performance. They don't just ask, they orchestrate. They know when to compliment you, when to show just enough interest, when to mirror your values to earn your trust. But when it's their turn to give back, to reciprocate, to stand by you, to support you, they're always too busy. They vanish, they pivot. They make you feel like you expected too much for wanting anything in return. But listen closely. Real relationships are reciprocal. Friendship is not a one-way street. Support isn't supposed to be lopsided. Love, loyalty, respect, these things are mutual, not transactional. So how do you protect yourself? You learn to measure patterns, not moments. You pay attention to consistency, not charm. You ask yourself, when I had nothing to offer, were they still here? And if the answer is no, if they only show up when it benefits them, then it's time to close the door with grace and move forward with wisdom. Your heart is not a doormat. Your generosity is not a currency to be traded. Your presence is not a resource for those who only see your value when they need something. It's time to reclaim your energy. It's time to give where your giving makes a difference. And it's time to walk away from the takers, not with anger, but with peace. Because letting go of the wrong people is what makes space for the right ones. There's a sacred balance in every healthy relationship, to give and to receive. That's how love breathes, that's how support flows. But takers don't care about balance. They don't care about fairness. They don't care about mutuality. They care about one thing only, what they can get from you. And the moment they've drained everything they can, your kindness, your time, your emotional energy, they vanish. Not out of malice, but because that's who they are. Taking is their nature, and they don't even see it as wrong. In their world, people exist to serve them. You're a tool, a resource, a step on the ladder. Your sacrifices go unnoticed. Your exhaustion goes unacknowledged. They move forward and leave you behind with nothing but regret. So what do? You stop. You stop pouring your soul into a bottomless cup. You stop showing up for people who only appear when they need something. You stop calling it love when it's really manipulation dressed as friendship. Here's the truth. If it's always about their needs, their plans, their dreams, and never yours, that's not a relationship. That's an arrangement. And you're the one paying the bill. You're not being selfish by drawing a line. You're being wise. You're not being cold by setting boundaries. You're showing self-respect. Because the person who never gives back is not your friend. The one who only reaches out when they're in need is not your support system. You deserve more than that. You deserve reciprocity. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you just as much as you lift them. And the moment you realize that, the moment you stop enabling takers and start protecting your worth, something shifts. Suddenly, your life begins to feel lighter. Your relationships begin to feel deeper. You're no longer constantly drained. You're renewed, restored, at peace, because you're finally giving to people who pour back. So guard your energy. Protect your heart. Recognize the takers early and walk away when the signs are clear. Your time, your love, your presence, they are gifts, not obligations. Now let's talk about something even more dangerous than a taker, the manipulator. The eighth type you must be careful with. Manipulators don't just want help, they want control. They're not satisfied with your kindness. They want to own it, to twist it, to use it against you. They don't ask for help. They provoke you into giving it. They craft stories that hit your deepest emotions. They exploit your empathy until your yes no longer comes from compassion. It comes from guilt. They know exactly what they're doing. They study you. They learn your patterns. They test your boundaries and push just enough to find the cracks. And when they see your heart, they strike. They don't come with honest needs. They come with carefully scripted stories, tears, pain, just enough drama to activate your compassion, and just enough guilt to make you feel responsible. But here's the truth that's hard to swallow. Helping a manipulator doesn't heal them. It empowers them. The more you give, the more they demand. The more you surrender, the more they tighten their grip. They aren't growing. They're feeding on your kindness, feeding on your emotional currency. They don't stop. They don't reflect. They don't say, thank you. Because to them, your help is not generosity. It's fuel for their control. And you, with all your good intentions, are left wondering, why do I feel so trapped? Why am I giving so much and feeling worse? Because it's no longer about love. It's not even about helping. It's about power. They've turned your kindness into a cage. You feel obligated. You feel guilted into staying. You feel like saying no would make you a bad person. But here's what you must understand. Real love doesn't manipulate. True connection doesn't require control. And generosity should never come at the expense of your peace. If your help is being twisted into a contract, if your compassion is being hijacked for control, then it's not help anymore. It's a trap, and you have every right to break free. They made you believe you're responsible for their happiness, but you're not. The only person's happiness you're truly responsible for is your own. Manipulators are masters at guilt. They make no feel like betrayal. They twist your kindness into chains so that every time you try to pull back, you feel like you're the one in the wrong. You know deep inside, helping them won't change anything. You feel it. This isn't transformation. This is a trap. But you still say yes. You still give, and what's left? You. Empty. Used, exhausted. That's what manipulators do best. Not just take your time or energy, but take a piece of your soul. And the worst part, they don't care. They don't stop to wonder how you feel. They don't ask what it's costing you. All they care about is getting what they want, by any means necessary. Let me be clear. I'm not telling you to stop helping people. I'm not telling you to close your heart, but I am telling you this. You must protect your energy. You must guard your heart, because not everyone who asks for help is seeking healing. Some are seeking control. Some are looking for a way to drain you and justify it, and you must be strong enough to see it, strong enough to say no, strong enough to hold your boundaries even when they try to twist the truth and make you feel like the villain. Helping a manipulator isn't kindness. It's not generosity. It's self-betrayal. You are surrendering your peace, your purpose, and your self-respect. And those are things you simply cannot afford to lose. The more you give to someone like that, the more they take. And the more they take, the less you have for the people who actually matter, including yourself. So stop dancing to their tune. Stop letting them pull your strings. Stop allowing them to make you feel like you owe them your life. Because you have enough battles to fight, enough dreams to chase, enough goals that need your attention. You don't need to carry someone else's manipulative baggage on top of your own. At the end of the day, it comes down to boundaries, knowing where to draw the line, knowing when to walk away, knowing when a request for help is really a form of control. Just because someone asks for something doesn't mean they deserve it. And just because you can help doesn't mean you should. The truth is this: the most important person you need to take care of is you. You matter. Your peace matters. Your well-being matters. Don't let anyone twist your goodness into obligation. Don't let anyone turn your kindness into captivity. Stand firm. Say no when necessary, because when you let a manipulator in, they'll keep taking. Until there's nothing left of you. You deserve more. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect, not emotional warfare. You deserve a life where your kindness is received with gratitude, not weaponized against you. So hear this: helping others is beautiful. It's part of what makes us human. But discernment is power. You must recognize when your help is truly needed, and when it's just being taken for granted. If you don't, you'll end up depleted, burned out, bitter, and that's not who you're called to be. So before you give, ask yourself, is this person seeking real growth? Are they open to change, to giving back, to walking with integrity, or are they just one of the 8 kinds of people who drain, use, and destroy? Helping the right people will lift your soul. Helping the wrong ones will slowly destroy it. You deserve to walk through life with your spirit intact, your energy protected, and your kindness reciprocated. Choose wisely. Not everyone deserves a front-row seat in your life, and once you understand that, you won't just become a better helper, you'll become stronger, wiser, and free.